you do, it's gonna grab a hold on you. California soul. California soul. California soul. California soul. Grab a California soul. Grab might as well get with it. Grab California soul. Might as well get with it. Grab California soul. Might as well get with it. Grab California soul. Grab California
All right, welcome California Democrats to the California DNC Fest, kicking off our 2020 National Convention. I want to thank you all for being here. I want to welcome each and every one of you for a day and a time that we have been waiting for a long time. Only 79 short days until we have the opportunity to take our democracy back, take our country back. And I think we recognize so much is at stake. This week, we're going to come together to celebrate the diversity, the power, the unity of this party. But we know that there's been some incredible work that's already been done. Many of you have been a part of that great work through the 2020 coordinated campaign, not only working for candidates and causes right here in California, but doing our work in other parts of the country, educating voters, preparing to protect the vote, working with the DNC and Team Biden, the DCCC, the DSCC, not only to win here in California, to be to take back our country, to take back our democracy, to ensure that we put forward a better, brighter, stronger vision for America. And we've got the winning ticket to do it. At the top of the ticket, Joe Biden, and yes, a California Democrat, Kamala Harris. How outstanding is that? How awesome is that? That we have Kamala Harris, Senator Harris, as our VP nominee, a woman of color who is ready to lead on day one. I'm incredibly excited about the ticket that we have. I'm incredibly excited about the delegation that we are making the voices heard of California in our party, led by some incredible leaders, powerful co-chairs of this delegation. And we want to hear from them before we turn to the rest of our programming. So I want to turn it first to a leader that needs no introduction, Congresswoman Barbara Lee, a progressive out of the Bay Area who has been leading on so many important issues year after year after year. Leadership in the Democratic Caucus, former Congressional Black Caucus chair, former chair of the Progressive Caucus, DNC Platform Committee, a DNC member in our party. We're so proud of her leadership, and proud to have her as a co-chair of this delegation. Congresswoman Lee.
Thank you very much. Hello, California Democrats. First, let me thank you, Rusty, our great chairman, for your tremendous leadership. Also, I just have to say to the entire CDP team for all of the work that you do. You are truly taking our state party to new heights. It's such an honor to be serving as a co-chair, leading the most diverse, progressive, and yes, the largest delegation to the DNC, alongside with my very good friends and colleagues, Congressman Khanna and Supervisor Hilda Solis. My fellow California Democrats, first, let me just say it's so good to gather virtually tonight, really to kick off our convention, a convention that we will celebrate the new strength of our diversity as the foundation, quite frankly. That's the foundation of our Democratic Party. And that diversity will shine brighter than ever before when we make history by nominating our very own Senator Kamala Harris to serve as vice president alongside Joe Biden in the White House. Yes, this really is a joyful moment for so many of us as Democrats, so many women, as African-American women, as women of color. And I know that my mentor, the first African-American woman to serve in Congress and to run for president, the amazing Shirley Chisholm. I know that she is smiling down on us. Kamala has never hesitated to fight for the American people. She's fought against the most powerful interests in this country, and I know she will bring the same tenacity, heart, and vision to the vice presidency. Senator Harris has been a champion on women's rights, on the environment, on healthcare, and so many other issues. And yes, as a native of Oakland, California, which is in my congressional district, hello, Oakland, hello, Alameda County, I know that she's going to represent her hometown's toughness and innovative spirit in the White House. Not only Kamala is a fierce and accomplished fighter, ready to take on the hard challenges on day one, but she represents the strength and diversity that we are in California have long understood and treasured. As the daughter of immigrants, she will make history and shine a light on the strength and the power of diversity. Now that strength, it comes from our diversity, which provides a stark contrast to the xenophobic, the racist hate that is spewed by 45 and his cronies daily. Yes, my fellow Californians, we really know what we are up against in this election. We see the disinformation, we see the voter suppression, and we see Trump openly working to interfere in this election by sabotaging or trying to sabotage the United States Postal Service. Yes, my fellow Californians, we really do know that our democracy is on the line in November. And yes, my fellow Californians, we are prepared to fight for our democracy that safeguards this diverse country and our people. And make no mistake, we will fight tooth and nail. I know California Democrats will fight tooth and nail. I know it's hard because we're right in the middle of so many crises all coming together. The pandemic has taken so many lives. It's the worst economic collapse that we've seen in our lifetime, the global climate emergency, the crisis of systemic racism and economic inequality that continues to hold our country back. But the work that we have to do to get Trump out of office is critical. Nothing could be more important. Everything is at stake in this election. It's literally, and I always say this, it's a matter of survival. It's a matter of life and death. But we will dig deep and we will bring everything we have, that we will make sure that we will get every vote out and every vote counted. As my dear friend, our beloved, the great Congressman John Lewis would say, we have to vote like we have never voted before this election. So let's go, Cal Democrats. Let's show what this nation is really, what we stand for in California. Let's flex our strength because we are a diverse state, we are unified, and we must move forward. But we've got to keep working. We've got to work for a Green New Deal. We've got to work for Medicare for all and an end to American forever wars and true equality and dignity for all. And also, don't forget, we have to do everything we can do to send Nancy Pelosi back as speaker, the greatest speaker ever. And we've got to send her back with a large majority in the House. So come on now, let's ditch Mitch. Let's win back the Senate. Let's put Joe Biden and Kamala Harris in the White House in November. Let's make sure that our diversity, our strength is showed from California. We are leading the way. Let's stand up and let's vote this racist, this corrupt, and this incompetent men out of the White House. And let's send all his cronies packing. And I know virtually, we're going to win. We're going to bring more people together than ever before. And so, Rusty, I just want to thank you and the California Democratic Party for everything that you've done to bring us together, even in this very challenging times. But we're going to do it. And you have shown the creativity, the diversity, and the can-do attitude of Californians by bringing us together in a space that we never thought we would be together in. But let's go, California. Let's win these elections. Let's do this.
It might seem crazy what I'm about to say.
As was said in the chat time and time again, Congresswoman Lee speaks for me. I certainly think that message from our co-chair of this outstanding delegation tells us of the important work that we have in front of us. Next, I want to hear from another outstanding co-chair, Congressman Khanna, from right there in the heart of the Silicon Valley, a son of immigrants who understands the challenges that working families face, and therefore in his 4+ years in Congress has been fighting for working families time and time again on an important issue after important issue. We're grateful for his leadership, a national co-chair of the Sanders campaign, a vice chair of the Progressive Caucus in the House of Representatives, Congressman Khanna.
Well, thank you, Rusty, and thank you for the exceptional job you have done to help bring our party together. And in just 1 year, you have really energized the party. I thought you did a fantastic job in getting our delegation in California, congressional delegation, and the presentation you gave yesterday. So thank you for your leadership. It's always such an honor to follow Barbara Lee, hard act to follow, but she is a profile in courage. She has been a mentor of mine. I have such admiration for everything she is doing, particularly to stop endless wars. And I have so much respect for my fellow co-chair, Supervisor Hilda Solis, who is a leader on labor issues, a leader for working families. It is just an incredible delegation that we're going to have to the convention, united to elect Joe Biden, President of the United States, and Kamala Harris, Vice President. Let me tell you what struck me today. The humanity of Joe Biden. I don't know if you saw it, but he tweeted out his condolences to the president on the loss of the president's brother. And, you know, the president, Trump, acknowledged everyone else. So far, as I've seen, hasn't acknowledged Biden. But I thought to myself, you know, maybe this is what the country needs. Someone who has the humanity at this time of such deep polarization, at the time where the president literally is engaged in a scheme to possibly cheat us of our votes, that he has the humanity at that moment to say, I'm going to put aside everything and just speak to someone as a human being. Joe Biden, I think when you look at what my greatest admiration for him is, it is his empathy, it is his emotional ability to understand people and hopefully out of this incredible mess, stitch our country back together. And the boldness he showed with choosing the first African-American woman, the first Indian-American woman, I mean, that's incredible. I mean, you don't think Joe Biden knew that there was going to be all of this false attacks, all of these false accusations against Kamala Harris? So he said, I don't care. Here's the thing which we need to understand. We understand American history better than they do. We are more patriotic in our aspiration for this country than they are. I mean, I don't think Donald Trump even realizes that the president he admires the most, Andrew Jackson, who has a lot of problems, but the president he admires was the son of 2 immigrants who came to this country. I mean, it's mind-boggling, the hypocrisy, the rank hypocrisy and the illiteracy about American history that the other party is showing. This election is about restoring a vision of what America should be. And the Biden-Harris ticket is a glimpse into the multiracial, multi-ethnic future that is America's promise in the 21st century. And that promise, I'm so proud that that promise is going to start from California. But let me just say this, our delegation, as Barbara Lee said, we have got to be the voice for the progressive policies that are going to finally heal this country at a time of a huge pandemic where so many people are losing their jobs and don't have health care. We have to be the delegation that says Medicare for all is a moral right. It is time to have health care for everyone. We have to be the delegation that says it's time for a Green New Deal, time for a living wage, time to end the endless wars, time to have worker rights again, time to make sure that this party fulfills the promise of FDR and leads us to a more just future. I am confident California will do that. I'm confident we're going to elect Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, President and Vice President, and usher in a more just and hopeful era for this country. I think they had my cue. I tried to end. I got the music and I tried to wrap it up.
This is like the Emmys. You know, the music starts slowly coming up as your time is completing. But I think we got the message that you provided to us, which is for all of us to continue to fight for progressive values that reflect progressive California that we have. And thank you for your leadership. Thank you for your work.
Thank you.
And we're grateful to have you as a co-chair of this outstanding delegation. So last but certainly not least, I want to make sure that we hear from our third co-chair of this delegation, another co-chair that needs no introduction, Supervisor Hilda Solis. Been working hard for Californians in the state legislature, in Congress, as Secretary of Labor for President Obama, and then has come home to serve, serving in the Los Angeles County Board of Supervisors. Grateful for your leadership. I want to turn it over to Supervisor Hilda Solis.
Wow. Thank you so much, Rusty, and hello to all you California Democrats. You look great. And I'm delighted to be here with you and with our very honorable California representatives, my former colleague, Barbara Lee and Ro Khanna. In California and everywhere else in the nation, our vote is our voice, especially now that the Republican Party is trying to mess with our voting process. And I have just one thing to say to them. No matter what they try to do, we're going to vote and we're going to win. We're going to defend the House and those 7 Democratic seats in California. We're going to flip the Senate and we're going to kick out Mitch McConnell and we're going to elect Joe Biden and our very own Kamala Harris. But to do all of that, we need your help. California is a beautiful blue state. We have a lot of power by donating our time and money to critical swing states like Arizona, Nevada, Texas, and Colorado. Everyone here has the power to organize, mobilize friends, families, neighbors, and all of our communities. And now that everything is virtual, it's easier for us. So for us to make phone calls into those other states. So please, I urge everyone to get plugged into our state operations, the Biden campaign, because organization is going to be key to our success. This is an all hands on deck moment. The race is going to get tighter and tighter as November approaches. We all have one unified goal, and that is to beat Donald Trump and deliver victory to our communities by electing Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. So reach out to every single person that you know, and I mean every single person, whether it's through phone calls, texts, Zooms, Twitter, and Facebook. And make sure to get those ballots in early so our mail system is not overwhelmed. We're going to restore the soul of our nation. And we have to work together, as we say in Spanish, mano a mano, hand in hand. So make sure to commit to watch this week's national convention starting tomorrow night. Let's get fired up and organize. Together, we will win. Si se puede. Now, I would like to introduce my colleague and friend, a great leader for our party, the granddaughter of Cesar Chavez, who is now serving as senior advisor for the Biden campaign. the Honorable Julie Chavez Rodriguez.
Thank you so much, Supervisor, and thank you all so much. California Democrats, it's great to be with you all virtually, and so exciting to be able to join you all at the end of what a tremendous week. As many of our folks have already noted, on Tuesday, we were just so proud as the state of California when Joe announced his choice for vice president, our amazing US Senator Kamala Harris. And the support has been amazing and overwhelming. In the last 48 hours alone, or I should say in the 48 hours after the announcement, we announced, we had raised $48 million from hundreds of thousands of new first-time donors to the campaign. And our list for volunteers continued to grow. We had people signing up for shifts, getting ready to do their part to do the voter-to-voter contact that we know is going to be necessary to win and to win big in November. And so the energy and the unity that it's created, especially as we're going into convention, could not have been any better. From the labor community, and I know many of you all are with us on the line, and you all know that Kamala has been on the picket lines and out there fighting hand in glove with you all, to folks in the Latino community who have seen the tremendous work that she's done to fight for Latino homeowners during the housing crisis, and obviously for issues like immigration reform and unemployment and so many other things in the US Senate. To obviously, our Black and AAPI brothers and sisters who are, so proud of this historic choice and this opportunity for us to really be able to reflect the future of America on our presidential ticket. And while we've seen, amazing excitement and I think tremendous support for Kamala and across our party and real unity, we've also seen the usual hate and division from Republicans, spewing lies and circulating misinformation. So we need to make sure, and I ask all of you on the line, because I know you all are organizers and are champions, to make sure that we're doing our part to get that accurate information out, to lift up the important work that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris have done, to fight for working families, to fight to protect our healthcare, to fight for immigrants, and to fight to reform our criminal justice system. We know and we've seen firsthand that Kamala is smart, tough, and experienced, and she's a proven fighter with the backbone that this country needs to really ensure that we are fighting for the middle class and continuing to expand opportunities for everyone. And we know that she's the right person to take on Donald Trump and Mike Pence on the campaign trail. I know I, for one, am looking forward to that first vice presidential debate. And as vice president, she'll also be in the situation room and the cabinet room, asking the hard questions and ensuring that we're doing right by our country and by all Americans. So please be sure to help us in that effort. As the daughter of California and the daughter of immigrants, we could not be more proud of our new running mate on the ticket. Now for the 2020 DNCC, we're really excited and we need your help to really ensure that everyone feels as excited and feels a sense of energy that they would, virtually as they would in the convention hall. State parties like you all and caucuses and groups and allies are, doing their usual organizing of pre and post convention, activities. And so we really want to make sure that while we won't necessarily have the full balloon drop, that we'll continue to feel the kind of energy and excitement that we'll need to carry us through to November. And I'm sure you all have seen the tremendous lineup that we have for the 4 days of speakers that are really also going to reflect the stories of real Americans that are taking on the critical crises that our country's facing as a result of Trump's failed leadership. We're dealing with a public health crisis, an ensuing economic crisis, and the continued sort of tear of racial injustice that has plagued our communities and our country for too long. And so it really is going to be important that all of us come together and really demonstrate, the future and the unity that we know we can really demonstrate as a party. On Monday, we have Senator Bernie Sanders and former First Lady Michelle Obama to help kick off the week. On Tuesday night, really focusing on leadership matters, we'll have Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, former President Bill Clinton, and former Second Lady Jill Biden. On Tuesday night, we'll also have a really exciting roll call across America that will, help to bring everyone to our 57 different states and territories as everyone has their, vote for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris as our next president and vice president. On Wednesday, we'll hear from Kamala. And then on Thursday, we have our very own governor, as well as, of course, the vice president speaking. So we're really excited about this lineup. And coming out of convention, we're also excited to be able to organize a weekend of action. As I mentioned, we're continuing to recruit more volunteers, getting more volunteer shifts in. And we know that, you all as California have been a powerhouse to helping us turn states like Nevada and Colorado blue, and we want to be able to expand the map this time and make sure that we bring Arizona along with us and turn Arizona blue and take that Senate seat back. Because as folks have mentioned, we need to make sure we're taking the fight. So with that, I'd like to turn it over to my friend, Yvette Martinez, the Executive Director of the California Democratic Party. Yvette?
Everyone. It's so great can you hear me? Okay, great. Hi, everyone. Welcome to our California Democratic Party. I am thrilled to welcome our next special speaker, Cristela Alonso. Cristela made TV history in 2014 when she became the first Latina to create, produce, and star in her own network sitcom, Cristela, for ABC. Have you seen her Netflix show, Lower Classy? She's hilarious. And I love how she talks chisme about her family and her beloved community. So Democrats, please give a warm welcome to Cristela Alonso.
Hello, everybody. I'm actually, I think, one of the only ones here that is not a politician, but I am a Californian and a Texan. And more importantly, I'm a first-generation Mexican-American. I'm a Latina. And I'm here because I want to take a moment to talk to you about what's so important to me, and that is hope. I grew up in a border town, McAllen, Texas, and the one thing we didn't have was money, and yet we were still happy. And even when times were tough, we always had hope. Hope was something that you could never have taken away. And right now, I want to just thank everybody, first of all, for being here, for taking the time out of your lives to show up, to represent, because you understand how important each voice is. Sometimes when I'm out doing the get out the vote efforts and stuff for different elections in the past, I've always bumped into cynicism. People always say, but it's just one vote. What does one vote do? It doesn't work that way. I always try to explain it like this. One vote is one voice. A voice plus another voice, plus another voice. When you end up with all those voices, you end up with a beautiful choir. That's why choirs work. It's different voices coming together to be heard. Times are difficult right now. Let's face it. I mean, you could, at this point, I'm afraid that if I go to a bar and ask the bartender for an old fashioned, he'll take away my voting rights. I mean, it's insane, but I have faith that we can do something. Here's the thing, though. I want to remind all of you, when we elect Biden, when we elect Kamala to be our next leaders, the work doesn't stop there, because now having them in office means that we can be heard. And that is something that I think so many communities in this country have not had in the past couple of years. No one listens. Change doesn't happen overnight, but it will happen. It can happen. There's a lot of doom and gloom going around, but right now, when I see everybody here paying attention, showing up, I want to say this is something that no one can take away from us. I believe in this change. I believe that Biden and Kamala can get together and take us into the right direction. So I want to tell all of you here, as a first-gen border town kid in South Texas, I never imagined that I would ever get the chance to speak in front of a Democratic Party convention at all. My mom never learned to speak English. I never got to graduate from college. I'm a type 2 diabetic that almost died a couple years ago, not knowing that she was diabetic. It's because of all these issues that I fight so hard for everyone to be heard. Think about it. Right now, what we're fighting is cynicism. Don't let the cynicism win, because the hope will always win. Remember that. I want you to volunteer. I want you to do your best to send out your message. Your message is, we can get through this together, all at once. You know, a couple years ago, I'm a stand-up comic. I was on the road in the middle of nowhere. I was walking to this theater. I like to walk whenever the theater's close. And I hear this guy yelling at me, "Hey, Mexicans are lazy." I'm like, first thing I thought was, should I be running? I don't know. Like, should I be walking faster? He just wants to be mean, right? And he says, Mexicans are lazy. Mexicans are taking away our jobs. And I'm like, well, pick one. Which one is it? Are we lazy or are we taking away your jobs? I mean, it doesn't make sense, you know? That's the rhetoric that so many of us are fighting. And I know, especially my Latino friends and family, my brothers and sisters, any disenfranchised community, I want you to know sometimes it's hard to feel like people are listening, but they are. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Cristela. You're amazing. I know that we're going to need you in the next less than 80 days. And I hope that you'll continue to help us and speak to communities for us. We're going to need you for sure. And which is a great transition to the next part of our program. It is about volunteering. It is about getting to the work. So what we're going to do is that we're going to transition into 3 breakout rooms. One for Northern California, which will be led by Controller Betty Yee and San Francisco Mayor London Breed. We'll have another link to Central California, where we'll have Assemblymember Robert Rivas leading us. And in Southern California, we have the awesome Assemblymember Lorena Gonzalez, Congressman Mark Takano, and the Sawyer. They will lead the Southern California efforts. In these chats, go to the link so that you can get to your regional session. In these regional sessions, we're going to tell you all about our volunteer efforts taking place. We have an amazing coordinated campaign that is coordinating the campaigns from the federal elections all the way down to local. You'll find out how you can join our efforts to phone bank, text, volunteer, send postcards, mailings, you name it. So our teams are ready for you in our regional sessions. Go at it. We appreciate your time tonight, and we need you for the fight ahead. Thank you so much, California Democrats. We'll talk to you soon.